Ever wondering how to change colors conveniently? This checkered ruffle skirt tutorial will be giving you a detailed explanation on how to achieve the best skirts and ruffle details. Coming up. Thank you so much for clicking. For this tutorial, I'll be using two shades of yarn. I'll be using the shade black and the shade orange. I was using black and white initially, but I didn't like the texture of how the whites looked, so I decided to go in with these two beautiful colors, and I hope you are fine with it. Even though it's a little bit dark, I'll try as much as possible to get more lighting for you to see exactly what I'll be explaining in this tutorial. You also need a pair of scissors, some stitch markers is optional, you can use a safety pin to replace, and then a 3.5mm hook. Now note that I'm using two strands at the same time. This is of the lightweight, and I prefer using two strands at the same time to make it more thicker. So if you are going in for the lightweight, I recommend that you use two strands at the same time, but you can use any type of yarn, red hearts or any worsted or medium weight yarn. So let's get right into them. The very first step is to take the dominant color of the project. I chose black for my dominant color, so the number of chains you are going to make must be in your dominant color. So I'm actually making a size small, but I'll leave a size chart of how many you should chain for each sizes down in the description box. So I'm going to take my 3.5mm hook, but first I'll make a slip knot. This is how I make my basic slip knot. I put it on my finger, my two finger. I hold the yarn with my thumb, I cross it in this way, and then I pull the excess yarn through this side, so from the back, just like this, and then I pull two strands at the same time to closing up the gap. So now I'm going to hold this part, and I actually use this thumb to control my tension, this index finger to control my tension. So I'm going to pull up and then hold with my thumb like this, and I'm going to chain a total of 44. So 1 2 3, I chained up a total of 44, and I'll tell you the exact number of chains to make for all. So after chaining up 44 for a size small, what I'm going to do is to chain up an additional 3, and now I'm going to locate the fourth space from the hook, so 1 2 3 4, and put a double crochet there. So now the skipped 4 chains also counts as a double crochet, so now you have 2 double crochets in total. So the next space, you are going to locate the next space, make sure the line is always straight, put your double crochet there, and then a double crochet in the next. So you are not going to finish up this double crochet. Let me demonstrate to you again. This is the fourth one we are making. So you just wrap the yarn around the hook, you insert, you pull through. When you have 3 on the hook, you pull through only 2, as if you are about to finish off, but you are not going to yarn over and pull through the final 2. You are going to take your next yarn color. So this is the next yarn color. Make sure that you are holding it, and what you are going to do is to wrap the yarn around the hook like this and pull through the final 2 with the new color left. So actually the interchanging of the colors will be in 4 double crochets each. So when you pull, it gives you more grip to continue with your double crochet rows. So now you are going to continue with your double crochet rows with this orange color. But what you are going to do now is to wrap as if you are doing a normal double crochet. Make sure these 2 strands, both the yellow and the black, are gripped under on top of the chain. So you are going to double crochet over. So you are just going to target your next space, insert, and then go under, making sure that the 2 strands are on top, so that it gives you the grip to double crochet, and it weaves in instead of cutting off and now reattaching. So you just yarn over and pull through the loop. Now you have 3 on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you just did your double crochet, And the beauty of this is that the excess yarn left inside gets in woven. And so I'm going to demonstrate to you the next one. So put a double crochet just like this, making sure that the strands are inside, and then your next double crochet. This is the third one. As I told you, we are going to do a total of 4, so we have 3 now, and this is the following one. This is the last one. So after you yarn over and you have 3 on the hook, you pull through 2. You will not yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. You are now going to switch your color, and the beauty is that it's already woven in, so you don't have to now look for another black yarn to reattach. It's already here woven in under. What you are going to do first is to cut off this orange yarn, because we have already crocheted on top of it. We have already placed our double crochet on top, so you just cut off, because I don't like leaving in strands that will be obvious in the next color. So after that, you are just going to switch. So this was what we were working in. You just drop it like this and switch to this. Make sure you always hold the yarn with your index finger around, just like this, and then you yarn over and pull through. You can control your tension by just wrapping the index finger, because tension is really important in this changing of colors. So now so the next thing you are going to do is to put the orange yarn now on top of the chain. So now you yarn over, insert your hook into the next. The yarn is still hidden in, just like this. You pull through. When you have 3 on the hook, you pull through 2, you pull through 2. So just do your double crochet until you get to the 4th one and you do not finish, like how we just did. So as you are going, you'll be pulling the strand too, making sure it's secured under this one. So this is the 4th one. As I told you, you always not finish the 4th one. When you pull through 2, you now switch, and make sure your yarn is kept apart, because it can get twisted. It always gets twisted and it gets annoying. So now you pull through only 2 loops with the new yarn that you're incorporating, and now you bring the black yarn under. So that's what you'll be doing until you get to the 4th one and you do not finish off the 2 loops, and then you incorporate the next yarn, which is the black yarn. So this is the 3rd one, and this is the 4th one. You just pull through 2 as usual. You just switch, drop this off, and now switch. Isn't it beautiful? So this is how it's looking so far. So continue switching colors, 4 for each. Just make sure you switch your colors, 4 for each, and make sure you hide in the excess yarn. But I'll tell you what to do when we are getting to the end. So just continue with this interchanging of colors technique I just taught to you, which is much more convenient. So now guys, we are ending our row. Please take notice of this. You realize that we ended with a black. Anytime you are doing your changing of colors, you have to end with the same dominant color here. You can't end with an orange. And anytime you are doing your changing of colors and you realize that the chain is longer than 4, you just release the rest. Everyone's waist size differs, and since the work will be a little bit stretched, it can accommodate for a size small. Anyone around size small, this is going to fit. So this is the last row, and I want to give you a little bit technique. There is no need for you to carry this one for this last 4 double crochets we are going to do, because it will you even understand why you shouldn't. It will basically not be needed. This is because we are going to do 2 rows for each colors until we switch to other side. You are going to understand as time goes by. So instead of carrying along and double crocheting on top like how we did for the rest of the rows, for the rest of the sections, because we needed to interchange colors in the next one. We are not going to, this is going to be the last row, so you just drop it off and leave it hanging without you double crocheting on top. So just drop it off like this. You can just use your hand like this and now finish off your double crochet. So you can just release this later, but now we are going to concentrate on the next row. The yarn over here is leaving in hanging. This is how the back is looking, this is how the front is looking. The next row is going to be a row of 4 double crochets in each color, like how we did the same exact thing. So to do that, you chain up 1, 2, 3, turn over your work, go into the very next phase with a double crochet, because the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and double crochet till you get to the 4th, and then you do not finish up. As I told you, when you're about to finish the last double crochet, you leave 2 strands, and then now you are going to grip up and pull this strand that you left, the orange, and then you pull the black at the back. Make sure you are gripping up. Tension is really important in changing colors. And then yarn over just like this and pull through the final 2. You have incorporated the color. So now you are making sure that strand is on top of the work, like how we did for the chain. So now you are going to yarn over, find the very first double crochet and place a double crochet. Normally it's much tighter, but maneuver your way and make sure the strand is on top so that it gets woven in, and when you are switching colors it becomes convenient. And make sure you pull it as time goes by so that it doesn't really show inside, which makes it look so unneat. That's making sure that the strand is still on top. You pull through 2. So do your double crochet until you get to the 4th one, and then you leave the 2 loops leaving on the hook just like this. You pull your yarn tight, your black yarn. Now you can switch. It's normal for it to be for the yarns to get twisted. All you have to do is to make sure it's right in place. So now you are going to drop your orange and take your black like this, pull through the final 2, making sure the orange is on top, yarn over and do your double crochet until you get to the 4th one. So this is the 4th one, 2 loops left. Pull, always pull the yarn so that people do not really see what's inside because it doesn't look really nice when it's inside. So you yarn over and pull through this 2 loop, and that's what you're going to basically do, switching colors, making sure that you drop. All you have to do is to drop and put it on top and use the other color to double crochet, and automatically it gets woven in until you are getting to the end when you do not need to carry the color along. But this one, with this end, we will need to carry the color along because we are going to switch sections, and that's the beauty of it. So I'll meet you where the white stitch marker is, which includes the almost finished black checker. So we are finally at where the white stitch marker is. I didn't finish off my last double crochet for the orange section, and I want to just explain to you that there are 2 sides of the checkers. When you need to continue to the next row, you do not have to carry along, but when you are switching to the next side, you need to carry along because you basically be needing the other color of yarn to start the new section on top of the other color. I hope you understand. You are going to understand. So I did not finish, so I'm just going to switch like how I just did and pick my black yarn and pull through all 2 loops. Now I can release my stitch marker from where it was, and then I'm going to still carry along. Unlike how we didn't do for here, we didn't carry along for the next section, but you're going to carry along because you're going to need it. So you just make sure that it's on top, and then you put your regular double crochets till the end of the row. So you are going to finish up, pull the loop, the strand that was inside, and now you are going to release the double the other color, and then now pull tight just like this, yarn over and pull through. Now turn your work. When you turn your work, it will give you the opportunity to chain up 1, 2, 3, and now you pull the excess yarn that was left for the other color here. So you just turn it like this, pulling it tight just like this, and make sure it's on top because you are also going to need it for the very next section. So now you are switching to the another color right on top, so the orange will be on top. And so you are going to put your double crochet here in the next space. Please take notice, I hope you are seeing, don't put it in the very same space because you end up increasing. So this is the very same space and this is the next space. That is where you are going to put your double crochet. So just target your next space and do a double crochet because the chain 3 also counts as a double crochet, so you must have a total of 4 here. So this is the third one and this is the fourth one. So you know you don't have to finish the fourth one, you leave 2 loops landing and then just conveniently switch to the black yarn. And that's how it works. For this changing of colors can be fun when you are used to it, but when you are not, it's really annoying. But this one is much more convenient. So make sure the orange yarn is right on top, and then as you switch to the black yarn, you just make sure you double crochet, making sure that the orange is woven inside automatically. This is artificial intelligence. Oh my god. So as usual, on the fourth one you leave 2 loops like this, conveniently pull, and as I told you, it's normal for it to be getting twisted. So anytime you are switching to colors, make sure it's right intact. So you just pull the yarn and then voila, you pull the next yarn, make sure the black is under, and now you are going to do your double crochet on top till you get to the fourth space, leaving 2 loops. So this is basically repetition all the way down. This is basically repetition all the way down. I'll meet you at the end of, almost the end of the row, which is the last checker here, and I'll teach you what to do from there. So we are basically at where we place our green stitch marker, which is the first double crochet for our very last checker. For double crochet design. So I didn't finish off my 2, I left my 2 loops because I'm basically going to switch. So this is the black yarn and this is, what is this hand saying? This is the black yarn and this is the orange yarn. So I'm going to yarn over and pull through with the orange yarn. Now there's no need for you to carry this along because basically we are going to do 2 rows, and when you carry this along it becomes non-useful because you are not going to need it on top of the next one. So now that I switched to your orange yarn, instead of carrying along, just leave it to lie because you basically need it for this section. But when you are switching to another color on top of the next color, that's when you carry along, like how I taught you from here. But basically when you switch, just take off your stitch marker and then do your regular double crochet till you get to the end of the row. So your 4 double crochets on top of each other till you get to the end of the row, and you are basically done. So the next row is going to be the same orange on top. So as usual, you chain up your 3, turn over your work, crochet. The chain 3 counts as a double crochet, so double crochet. And please note that the next row that you're about to partake is going to be a row of increase because basically we need some expansion for the hip area. So when I just pull through to 2 left on the hook, make sure you grip and pull the black from here like how I taught you. So you get used to it very soon. So now you make sure that the orange is under, and then put your very first double crochet in the very first double crochet for the black section. Make sure that you are always pulling. You see, when you pull, when you don't pull, this is how it looks. When you pull, it closes up a little. So avoid this as much as possible, seeing the other color here. So I'm going to do my regular row, changing colors, switching colors till I get to the end of the row. I always place my stitch marker at the very first double crochet for the last 4 double crochets. So I'll meet you there. And with this 4 double crochets, this is where the stitch marker is. So you just pull your yarn and then make sure the black, this time I'm going to carry it along because basically I'm going to switch to another color on top, the black on top of the orange. So just remove your stitch marker and continue with your total of 4 double crochets in the very last. So just make sure the black is on top and put your total of 4 double crochets. So we are done now. Now you just grip up and switch to the black like how I taught you. Turn over, make sure the orange is under, chain up 1 2 3. This is the first row of increase. This time we are going to increase for expansion for the sides. So make sure the orange is always gripped here. So this is the very first space. This is the same chain. Instead of going to the next, go inside the same space. This time is an orange yarn, so you basically can see, and then put a double crochet there. So you have increased by 1. So now you are supposed to have 5 double crochets. So there's the 3rd, there's the 4th, and there's the 5th. You know the chain 3 always counts as a double crochet. So you are not going to finish off the 5th as usual. Now you are going to pull your orange and just switch girl, and just pull the black under, and now continue with your regular rows, making sure it's tagged underneath nicely, and make sure your yarn is always straight because it gets twisted. Trust me, if it gets twisted then you are cutting off. It's another work on its own. Now you switch. So I'll meet you at the end of the row where we are also going to apply an increase, and then I'll meet you at the last 4, which is here. We are not going to carry on with the other color, and I'll show you. I'll demonstrate to you again. So I'm done with my last double crochet for this section. I left 2 strands. I'm just going to pull the black one and just switch just like this. And as I told you, there's no need for you to continue with this color, so just remove the stitch marker, make sure the color is hanging somewhere, and then just complete your double crochet. So I just held the color with my other hand, and now I'm going to double crochet all the way down. And with the last space, you are going to put a total of 2. So 2 double crochets in the last, like how we just increased from the beginning of the row, so that it becomes equivalent for both sides of the increase. So you have an increase here and here. So the next row is also going to be an increase. We have 5 double crochets here. It's going to switch to a total of 6 double crochets. So to begin, you chain up 1 2 3, turn over your work and put a double crochet. I hope you are seeing this. Put a double crochet in the same exact space, and then double crochet all the way. You are supposed to have a total of 6 double crochets plus the chain 3. So as usual, you do not finish off. So you are supposed to have 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now you are going to switch to the next color of yarn. So just switch to your next color like this and like this. You are covered. Make sure the black is tagged under and complete your double crochets. So we are going to double crochet all the way down, making sure you switch your colors. Oh god, this is tight. So make sure you switch your colors, and I'll meet you over here. I always place my stitch marker over here. I'll meet you over there. As usual, I've not finished up my last 2 loops. This time you need to carry this yarn along, so just switch to your black yarn and pull through the 2 strands. Now you can release your stitch marker and make sure the yarn is stacked on top, and complete your double crochets. So with the last stitch, you are going to put a total of 2. So just double crochet swiftly. So in the last stitch, you are going to put a total of 2 double crochets. 2 double crochets. The next row is not going to be a row of increase, but it's going to be a row of interchanging the new color design. So make sure you're straight. And now you are going to switch to the orange one. So just pull as usual. Just pull tight. Make sure the black is under. Chain up 3. 1, 2, and 3. So now put a double crochet in the next, not in the same, because you are not increasing for this row. And make sure your black is tucked under. So you're supposed to have a total of 6 for this side as well. So this is the last double crochet. Don't finish off. Make sure the 2 loops are standing, and then pull the black out. And then we are going to interchange colors. This time this one lays low for this one to override. So let this orange lay low and let the black override, or any color that you choose, because you don't have to strictly go with these 2 colors. I think black and white will look good though, but you know I'm not a fan of white, so I prefer these 2 colors. So I'll meet you at the end of the row. You already know when I'm about to finish the last but 1 checker or cluster of double crochets. So now finishing off the last double crochet for this one, you just yarn and pull with the other yarn. Make sure this is tucked under. You can now remove your stitch marker and then complete your final design. Sorry, you don't need to have this tucked under. It always confuses me, so just leave it like that, because you don't basically need it. So you don't need it for this section. So you just complete your total of 6 in this shade of orange. So the last one, and now this is left here. You know what to do. The next row is also going to be a regular row of no increase. So you just chain up your regular 3, turn over your work, double crochet into the next. So you still have your total of 6 for this side. So this is the last double crochet. Make sure you leave the 2 loops and now pull the black out. Now make sure the orange is under, and then complete your design. Put the very first double crochet there and put your total of 3 more, making a total of 4. Get into the 4th one. Make sure that you just leave your 2 loops to incorporate the next yarn. So I'll meet you at the end of the row. This time you are going to color the you are going to continue with your strand down so that you can switch to the next color. 8, and I carried the black along because you are basically going to switch to the black on top of this orange one. And so the next row is going to be row 9, which we are going to increase for the side as well. So just yarn over and pull through the loop, pull tight, turn over and chain up your total of 3. So 1, 2, 3. So now make sure the orange is tucked underneath and put a double crochet in the same exact space, making an increase. So you had 6, now you are going to have a total of 7. So there's the 3rd one, 4th, making sure always this is underneath, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So the 7th one, you are not going to finish off as usual. Leave your 2 loops and switch the colors. Make sure the black is under, tuck it underneath, make it lay low, and do your double crochet on top. Always switch colors when it's time, and I'll meet you at the end where we are going to also apply our increase to 7 over here, and we don't need to carry the yarn along here. The end, you just pull your next yarn through the 2 loops, and now there's no need to carry, so you just leave it laying just like that and continue your double crochets. You are supposed to have a total of 6, and then you add up an additional 1 to make 7, like how we just increased. So you are going to add up an additional 1 as an increase, like how we just did, to have a total of 7, and voila, the next row is it's going to be a regular row. Just chain 3 and continue with your regular double crochet till you start switching up colors. And this is row 10. So basically we are going to have like 2 more repeats of regular rows before we start our final increase for this section, which will be dominant for this skirt pattern. I just love skirts. Just finish off with 2. As usual, you pull through your yarn and then make sure this one lays low and perform your double crochet here, and just do your double crochet, making sure the black is underneath. When it's time, you just pull, make sure this one lays low, and now continue, making sure that your finger is always securing the yarn. So I'll meet you at the end of row 10. You have to carry the color along to the end because you're going to switch to the next section, which is going to be a regular row. So I carried the color along and I ended regularly. You're supposed to always have your 7. So the next row is going to be the switching of the orange on top, and for the next 2 rows the orange will be in section and you'll be doing no increase. So just yarn over and pull through, make sure your black is stacked under, chain up 3 and put a double crochet in the next, not the same. Make sure you still maintain your 7 double crochets at the edges. So you just pull the yarn like this, insert, you switch to your black, and then continue until you get to the end of the row. There's no need for you to carry the color along because basically the next row is going to be the same thing on top. You understand? So I'm just going to fast forward, just do 2 regular rows as usual, changing your colors, and then the black section for the side. I'll show you what to do. I'm basically done with my 2 rows of orange section at the edges, which were regular rows, and I carried the color along the black underneath because you are now going to switch to the next 4 double crochets, which is going to be in the black section and which is also going to be our very last row of increase. So let me count the row for you. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So the 13th row is our very last row of increase for the hip area, and we are going to maintain regular rows to get to the length of the skirt we want. That's the pattern for this checkered ruffled skirt. So as I carried my color along, when I was coming here, there was no need, when I was going to the next section, there was no need to carry the color along. So you can basically see that there's no black yarn here, and since we need a color here, we needed to carry along. So what I'm going to do now is to just I'm done with my double crochet, my regular double crochet. So I'm going to just pull the yarn through the loop and then make sure it's tightened up, and then turn over my work, make sure my orange is still under. So I'm going to chain up 3 as usual, which counts as a stitch, and then I'm going to put a double crochet in the same exact stitch. I'm so glad that it's in orange shade so that you actually see what exactly I'm doing. So you are going to, normally you just go to this next stitch, but you are going to put it here to increase, and now you are going to double crochet. So you're supposed to have a total of 8 double crochets now. So this is the 4th one, the 5th, the 6th, 7th, and the 8th, which we are not going to finish up. We are going to leave the 2 loops behind because we are going to switch the next color. The chain 3 counts as a stitch also. So you have 8 double crochets, and you make sure that you also increase at the end, which is very vital. That's why you always have to place your stitch marker so that you don't skip, because I can miss stitches most of the times, and now unravel. So I'm just going to pull this orange yarn through, make sure that black is stuck under, still gripping with my finger here. If your tension is not cool, you just wrap it around your finger so that you release it softly, especially if you're not really that's what I used to do when I was a beginner to control my tension. So just a double crochet, changing colors, and you know what to do because it's basically repetition. So yes, you just tag this one underneath, pull, and then yarn through the two, yarn over and pull through to the two loops. So I'll meet you getting here, which we are going to do an increase, and we will not be carrying the color along because basically we are not going to need it for the next session. As I told you, just yarn over with your next color. Now leave it line because you are not going to need it for the next session. So remove your stitch marker now and finish off with your total of 7 and add an extra one for it to be 8, because you basically increased at the end of the row. As I told you, row 13 is the last row of increase for this skirt pattern. And now you have to just work 2 sections after completing the whole length for the skirt. Yeah, I'm talking too much. So make sure you put a total of 2 double crochets in the very last. So you have 8 now at the side, and voila, you see the expansion is looking perfect, and the middle detail of interchanging colors is looking perfect. So now the rest of the rows is going to be regular rows. That's how basically the skirt pattern is going to be. So the only difference is to make sure that your waist measurement is accurate. If you think it's not, you can add up an additional 8 so that you get 4 checkers for the side and side. And as I told you, the color you started here, that's what you are going to end here. It's very important to get it in place. So now the rest of the rows is going to be interchanging of colors, regular rows till how long you want. I'll show you the exact inch I did, and now I'll be working 2 sections after I complete my whole length, and then we join the side and side. I'll show you how I joined basically, and then we work the up and the ruffles. Isn't it beautiful? So now chain up 3 to begin, and go to the next space with your double crochet. You must have your total of 8 running there till you change your color. So as usual, I'm not going to finish off this last double crochet. Leave the 2 loops, pull through here, put the yarn across downwards. Make sure your orange is in place. Make sure the black is underneath, lying low, and then you place your very first double crochet, which is usually tight, and then make sure the yarn is underneath, and you are pulling just to tighten up and closing up the edges so that it doesn't show inside, which is not really cool. So now this black yarn goes here, and then you are going to complete your regular rows. I'll meet you and show you exactly the number of rows I did, and then the inch as well. So guys, I'm done with my total number of rows. I did a total of 30 rows. So when you check the colors counting from the beginning, you realize that we have 15 because 2 consist of one particular color, and I did 2. So one will serve as a front panel and one will serve as a back panel. It doesn't really matter which one exactly is the front, except that you must identify which side is the wrong side and which side is the right side. So I want to show you something small. You realize that the one which has a clearer detail is the right side. So you see that this side is clearer and this side looks like a little bit rough. So just make sure that you identify the right side, and then you make them face. So this is the right side of the front panel, this is the right side of the back panel, they are facing. And now I'm going to do a basic single crochet along the edges to join, but I'll be doing this single crochet in 2 colors. Even though we will turn it upside down, it's better for you to use 2 colors in order to get the neatest look you need for this project. So basically, I'm going to make a slip knot and attach, since the first section is the black color. And first of all, slip stitch to join. So you slip stitch to attach, and then you bring the excess yarn here, chain 1 and single crochet in the same exact space. So just place a single crochet in all the spaces till you are about to meet your next color. So I'm meeting my next color. I'm going to pull this yarn away, the one that we single crocheted over, and I'm going to switch to my orange color so that it enables me to single crochet along the orange as well. So basically I'm just going to, when 2 loops are left, as you can see, I'm just going to yarn over. So yarn over and pull through these 2 loops. So now you are going to tack, just send this strands, leftover strands away. You can cut them because we are done with them. And now you are going to concentrate on these 2 strands, this one left over here, this one, and then this one. So you insert into the next space, making sure that the strands are on top so that you can single crochet on them. So just single crochet swiftly. When you have 2 on your hook just like this, you can now, let me take my pair of scissors. So you can now take your pair of scissors, cut off the excess yarn that you left here. You don't want your work to be bunched up. And then you can also cut off the leftover yarn that you tagged under in the orange shade. So here, just cut it swiftly. And now you are going to switch to another color, which is the black. So just take the black yarn, pull tight, and yarn over and pull through all 2 loops. So now the black is in control. You tack this one under and then single crochet, making sure that it's on top so that it gets woven in automatically. Single crochet are going to make for this section of the color. You just switch automatically like this, and now you bring this one under and switch back to this yarn, pull tight, and then single crochet swiftly, making sure that the black is stuck under so that anytime you need to switch, it becomes very convenient. So that's how I'm going to do my attachments, and realize that it becomes neat for this section. This is how the back is going to look. Even though this one is going to show inside, I prefer both places looking neater, and that's why I use this technique. So I'm going to do this, changing colors till I get to the end of the row, and I'm going to do the same thing here too, and then I'll turn the work upside down when we begin the upper aspects, and then next will be the ruffle. So I'm basically done with the joining of both sides, and I turned it upside down, and I already placed it on my dummy. That is why you see it a little bit stretched out, because the hip of the dummy is a little bit bigger. But if you check the description, there will be an information on how to adjust for all your sizes, so you don't have to worry. So it's now time for me to select my dominant color, which is the black, and the dominant color is going to be the waistband for my project. So I'm going to make a basic slip knot and then attach here at the very side with a slip stitch, and then chain up 3 and double crochet all the way down. To double crochet all around my project, I'll meet you over here where we are going to slip stitch to join. I placed a double crochet all around the waist area, and now I'm almost at the end where I placed my stitch marker. All I'm going to do now is to slip stitch into the very first double crochet. I'm going to chain up 1, 2, 3. After chaining 3, I'm going to put a double crochet in the next space. So now I'm going to target my front loop. Even though it's black, I just hope you guys can see this. I'm going to do a front post double crochet, in the next 2 stitches. So there's the next one. So this is how it's going to basically look. You see that the front posts have raised up. And I did a short tutorial where I did the waistband with the same exact feature, so you can go check it out if you can't see from this black yarn. So the next stitch, 2 stitches are going to be regular double crochet, and the next 2 is going to be 2 front post double crochet. So I'm going to repeat this all around, 2 regular stitches of double crochet and 2 regular front post double crochet all around till I get to the end of the row. So guys, I ended with a total of 2 front post double crochet. It doesn't really matter how you end, but the most important thing is that you have to slip stitch to join, and I'll be weaving in the yarn later. So now for the ruffles, I'm going to work it in this section, so you can just work it this way. I hope you can see it. You can just work it this way towards the side, or that way. I prefer working it this striped manner. So I'm just going to measure about 4 inch from the sides. It doesn't have to exactly be in the middle, so I think 5 inch will be okay. That's why I measured 5 inch. I just want to get the striped effect, and then I continue with mine. So now from where you place your stitch marker, you are going to fold it in a straight section, just like how I'm doing. So you fold it in this section straight, in a straight manner, so you kind of get to know where exactly to reattach. So you can just place your stitch marker at where you are supposed to reattach, and then make sure that it's folded in this section in order to help you work swiftly with your ruffles towards this section and around the edges till you meet that section, and then continue vice versa. So I'll be using my dominant color. I'm going to make a slip knot and attach at where I just placed the white stitch marker, and it's still folded, so it gives me a cool grip to work my ruffles. So after attaching there, you chain up 3 and put a double crochet in the same exact space. So you are going to put a total of 2 double crochets in the same exact space, and the chain 3 counts as a double crochet. So in other words, you have 3 double crochets in the same space. So each space you find, you put a total of 3, and you need to get this to ruffle enough. So wherever space you find, basically you make sure that you put a total of 3, even though it's not really definite that you are targeting a particular stitch to create this ruffle. We just want to get it ruffling as much as possible. So this is basically the technique you are going to use. Each space you just put a total of 3 in order to get the ruffle effect going. So I'm moving to my next space where I'm going to put a total of 3. It's kind of tight in there always, so you have to maneuver your way and put your total of 3. And because you have folded it into 2, it kind of helps. You have folded it into the section that you are going to ruffle. It kind of helps you grip up to work your stitches. So I'm going to create my 3 double crochets in each space and make a ruffle as much as possible, because you are actually not finding stitches, you are finding spaces. So it kind of becomes difficult to incorporate the ruffles, but you just have to maneuver your way to find each small space. So guys, this is how the ruffles is looking so far on the skirt. So I'm gradually meeting where I placed my stitch marker. I went in this direction and I placed 3 double crochets in all the spaces. So it's now time for me to ruffle along the edges, and I'm close to the green stitch marker. So I'm just going to continue with my 3 double crochets in each space I find. So 3 double crochets. So let me just move along to this section. So now I'm just going to put a double crochet directly into the edge, the very edge. So I'm going to put a total of 3 in all the spaces I find on the edges. So this is how it's going to look like, and I'll meet you here. So you're supposed to end here. So just go around like this, and then I'll meet you here at the green stitch marker. Seriously guys, ruffles can be so time consuming. So I made my ruffles all around the edges of the waist. I'm very hungry, seriously. So this is where the green stitch marker is, and this is where we curved to the down aspect. So I'm going to put my last 3 double crochets in where exactly the stitch marker is, and then turn over my work. So let me remove my stitch marker and put a total of 3 double crochets. So now probably I'm going to work my last ruffle. The length of my ruffles actually is controlled by the amount of yarn I have. So if I see that the yarn is not enough, I end my ruffles. So I'm going to probably do a row or 2 more for my ruffles. In your next ruffle, you just chain 3 in case you want to continue. You yarn over and double crochet into the next stitch. So this time you are not going to increase, you are just going to regularly put a double crochet in each stitch downwards. So just double crochet all the way down, all around the ruffles. It can be so super time consuming. And then when you get to the curve one, you also continue along the curves towards the section where we slided till you get to the end of the row where the white stitch marker is. So I'll meet you when I'm done with this lengthy process, and then basically we can wrap up and do a few more edging, and then voila, you can rock your skirt.
So this is the final project. I love this skirt pattern. If you love this tutorial, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share to others as well. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.